You are watching us live here at Humanist TV Africa. You are watching us live wherever you are here at Humanist TV Africa. To our viewers in our studios in Ghana, Nigeria, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Kenya, and all over the world, you are most welcome. Please continue sharing our videos, our shows, especially on your Facebook groups, so that people can be able to learn more about what we do. Remember, each Saturday, we are here to share with you things to do with consumer rights, but also to look into agriculture being the oxygen that has to give us that kind of life. Now, we always have experts on a Saturday like this who come and share with us. My name is Katom Mukasa. In the studio is Dennis Bongole, who's going to be helping us to do everything right, share the slides, and of course the videos. Is the producer for the show. Today we are going to be looking at agroecology, uptake, appreciation, and consumption. We shall be looking at their way forward. In the studio, we are going to be having Mr. Kimera from Consumer Constant Uganda, Mr. Kimera Henry right there, our expert in-house, and of course, a panelist and a co-host for this show. And we're going to be having Mr. Bernard Bwambale right there, a chairperson of Food Safety Coalition in Uganda. And of course, we have Mr. Albert Kakande, CEO Memago Uganda. I must start by welcoming Mr. Kakande from Kenya. We are going to have Mr. Echedu Julius. Mr. Echedu Julius is a trainer of farmer trainers based in Eastern Uganda. We have been with him on a few shows and have enjoyed the work he does. Now, I'm going to request our viewers, of course, to take interest in whatever our experts share with us, take notes, and please, we always give their contacts. Follow them up, check them up on Facebook, follow them up, and of course, consult them. They're going to be giving you the best information. Now, we have experts today, three experts in the studio, Mr. Kimera, Mr. Bernard, and of course, Mr. Albert Kande. Now, we are going to start with Mr. Kimera to give us a recap of what we covered in the last show.
Colleagues, viewers, listeners, friends, consumers in general, you are most welcome to yet another in the series of agroecology and also looking at its potential and uptake. And I would like to welcome you back from the last series. The last series, we were looking at how do we mainstream agroecology and how do we put it into our local, regional, and national approaches. So last weekend, we looked at a number of initiatives that lead to what agroecology does, making us more participatory, action-oriented, mainstreaming, leading to co-creation, aspects of co-existency, and resiliency in a number of aspects. And here, our colleague Albert led us through the different applications and how we can use agroecology to regenerate our soils, to regenerate our environment, and increase and also have sustainable food production, plus all other attributes towards food. And all those attributes benefit us consumers and also benefit our planet. Then many insights with regards to policy. You will appreciate Bernard brought in a number of aspects that we'll need to continuously reflect to ourselves, challenge ourselves. What do we need to do? What do we need to focus on? Why aren't we investing in it? And if it does produce, how do we handle the food that comes out of it? And then our host and then our moderator brought in his learning background and also his personal initiatives as a farmer, but how best can he apply all these technologies, all these indigenous knowledge, but apply them in modernity. So there's quite a lot that we went through, and many of our different listeners listening in and appreciating. So this is what we will continuously do, to continuously share with you. But we need to look at this not only as we are sharing it, but look at it in your practical life on a daily basis as a consumer, as a farmer, as a family. Does this improve our livelihood? So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to yet another series of agrotechnology uptake, and looking at it. How do we appreciate it, and and what needs to be done so that it enhances our consumption and livelihood? So, with that, I would like to welcome you to yet another series. Thank you very much, Kato. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kimera. And of course, the team that does the work, does the talking, does the teaching. For us here, we do the learning and, of course, we do the sharing because we want to be better. We want to put food on our table. And how can we do that without knowing how best to keep ourselves safe? So, this show is for those who are interested in safeguarding the fertility of our soils, ensuring that we have sustainable food production in our homes. This is the most important part of it. Remember, these shows are not sensational. We're not about Kumansula, we're not about politics, we're not about things that excite people. Yet, these are the things that actually are so important because we need food. A country that is hungry is a country that is endangered. A family that is hungry is a family that is actually so much in trouble, so much in debt. We need food. That's why we put so much emphasis on such shows that with time, people are going to understand why it's important to look the other side. Because all of us wake up each day to go and eat, to go and work. And when we work, we buy food. So food is so important. Our health is so important. Now, these shows are going to be appreciated each day. And I want to thank our viewers, wherever they are, our teams, our Facebook pages, HTV Facebook page in Sierra Leone, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Those sharing these shows, please continue because one at a time. Our slogan here is one person at a time, one village at a time. We know somehow people are getting to learn how do you make fertilizers, for example. Now, Albert was able to teach you that, and Julius was able to teach you that. Kimel has been able to teach you so much on health, so much on your rights, including Bernard. These are experts. So I'm happy that we have this team here, and each day, each weekend, I know people get to know, get to learn, and of course, because these shows are watched for a number of days, a number of months. You never know someone is joining us today and is going to be able to watch shows we did in January. So please continue sharing, continue watching, especially those following us on Facebook. Now, I want to ask Mr. Bwambali your input on today's show briefly before we go to Albert to tell us how Kenya was.
All right. Thank you so much, Kato, and welcome Chimera Henry and Albert to the show, and of course Bongole down there in the studio. Well, I want to say that agroecology has a lot of potential to build our food system. Agroecology, it has a lot of meaning to all governments to invest in, not all households. If you came to Uganda during the course of this month, we've had a lot of mudslides again and landslides across the country, including my area where I come from. People are being buried. Yesterday, we just buried 4 children from the same family after dying of a mudslide. Their house went with the rains and all that, but partly because we have we have resorted to cutting all the trees. We are no longer practicing the agriculture we used to have in the olden days, what they used to just call local agriculture, but in actual sense it was agroecology. We've tampered with the nature, and at the end of the day now we see a lot of trouble. So I still believe that agroecology can still restore our environment. It can restore our climate now that we are dealing with climate change every now and then. I still hope that agroecology still is the way to go to improve all these things at the same time. It's like you want to stone two birds, but you have only one stone. So if we were to improve the soil, the same time you're improving climate, the same time you're improving food security, the same time you're advancing nutrition, the same time you're chasing away poverty, then you have to go agroecology. So you can see that agroecology is one stone that can actually hit as many birds as you'd want to hit. But of course, looking at what is failing agroecology, I wanted to first bring in this perspective of the topic of today so that now Albert can take us through the other dynamics. Looking at what is actually failing agroecology, quite a number of things. Why are people not appreciating agroecology? One, I have always said, every time, every year, we are budgeting for agriculture and agriculture as a department or as a ministry. I have always said that how much money do we actually invest in real production of food using agroecological systems? You will be surprised that many governments and many organizations, everybody doing planning, there are very few people that are actually doing investment around agroecology. Now, because there is no much investment, that is why the uptake of agroecology seems to be minimal, because someone thinks the government is not investing in it, the organizations are not investing in it, the families are not investing in it. So it becomes tricky for people to uptake what they don't actually appreciate. So that is one reason perhaps why people are not uptaking this. Number two is about the promotion. Who is promoting agroecology? You know, every time we bring experts on this, you realize that Albert has a lot of, resources around agroecology and the other team members. But the promotion of these colleagues who are doing this product is very minimal compared to the promotion of synthetic, products. So because the agroecology is not being promoted widely, it hinders its uptake, it hinders its adoption. How many people are actually advertising agroecology? If you go on TV, every single day there's an advert on any synthetic chemical for what, fertilizer and all this. But who is advertising the organic fertilizer? Who is advertising? Which TV is advertising, the bio solutions, bio concoctions that these colleagues are making? So I think we are not uptaking this because we are not promoting it enough in our society, in our communities that we live. The promotion of agroecology and agroecological solutions is still very, limited. Even the colleagues who have come up with innovations around agroecology, we are learning that actually they are not being supported to certify their products. Even those who have resources to certify their products, the challenge is the process of certifying an organic product is becoming a hassle. And so because of that, we cannot reach out to the communities with innovations or with alternatives. And yet the alternatives exist. So for us to be able to uptake, to ensure there is uptake of these, solutions, there is really need for us to promote them, to advertise them, to invest in them, and to promote the colleagues around that. We have a whole ministry that is dealing with science and innovations. But how many times do they come to Albert and say, okay, look here, bring your indigenous knowledge and what innovations are working, and we promote them as as Uganda. We don't see such kind of platforms, and for that reason, agroecology is still undermined. Agroecology is not taken for seriously. Agroecology is not being adopted by many community members just because of this. What about in terms of awareness? How much awareness are we creating to the farmers that, okay, look here, we are building your capacity that you can undertake agroecology and can produce food for the nation, and you can have massive monies coming from this and the other. So in terms of awareness and capacity building, I think we are still doing badly here. And so because of these reasons, there is no one who is even focusing about the policy environment, who is creating policy and ensuring that the policies available are actually having money facilitating agroecology in our countries. So because of all this, I feel the adoption then becomes lower, and then people think that whatever is being promoted is the one which, of course, people take on. So I would really request that let us do advocacy, let us promote this agroecology, let us create awareness, let us build capacity of people, let us invest more in it, and then I think we can be able to have a substantial amount of people adopting to agroecology. So, Kato, for now, I want to leave the other colleagues now to dive into other provisions, alternatives. But I think the reasons I'm giving are the reasons why people are not adopting, or the uptake of agroecology is still a little bit low in our countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bernard Bambari. Thank you so much, Bernard Bambari. Now, because of internet issues, I'm going to have Julius first. I know my brother Kakande will be able to wait a little longer. He has a better network. Let us have Julius. Julius, I know you are in Teso region, which is a bit hard in terms of network. We want to hear from you before you disappear again. We are able to watch. Yes, we want to give you a chance before the network kicks you out. We want to hear from you. Today we're talking about agroecology. We're looking at its uptake, appreciation, and consumption. Now, we know you are making lots of progress in terms of pesticides and things to do with that. Now, we'd like to hear from you, from your angle, in regard to today's topic. What's your take for today's theme? The floor is yours. Julius, please go ahead, unmute, and share with the audience.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to thank. Okay, I'm like, hello. Am I loud?
You are very clear.
Yes,
please go ahead.
We can hear you.
Please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and then go ahead and speak, please. Julius, you are muted. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. Just go ahead and speak. We are hearing you. Just
yes.
Speak.
Here.
Julius, just speak. The network we know is very, very challenging right there. But please, once you start speaking, simply speak. Don't stop speaking. And please unmute yourself. Julius, please, may you unmute yourself? Yeah, viewers, we have challenges with the network, but I think we shall get him through to the show. Julius Echedu Julius in Eastern Uganda is a teacher of farmers. He's a trainer of trainers right there, and has been part of this show to show us how to make organic pesticides, fertilizers, and others. It's a very, very, very handy trainer right there. But the network issue always bog him down, but he'll be back when he's ready. Let us hear from Albert. Albert, first of all, welcome from Kenya. You were part of a Soil Health Summit in Kenya International Convention Center, and we are able to watch a bit of photographs you shared from there. We do think it went smoothly, so we want to welcome you once again on the platform and to share with us and with the audience how was it like in Nairobi, Kenya. What did you share there? What did you learn there? Let us start from there.
Mr. Kato and colleagues, good to see you again. Sorry, I'm in a bit of dark background. I had to catch up the show somewhere around town. But nevertheless, we are here to add a break to the to Mother Earth. You know, we want to I always tell people, if it was a train, the agricultural train, it went off the rail. So we are fighting to bring the train back to the rail. Going back, the God's way of dealing with nature, agroecology, ecosystems, and so. So we are here. Good to see you again. And it was a nice summit in Nairobi at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. It was massive. Close to 2,500 delegates were there, and it was a beehive of activities. Now, one of my you always ask for take homes.
Yes, yes,
Now,
very important.
I asked myself on day 3 as we wound up, what is my take home? My take home is challenging.
Mm,
Bernard, I said we have a lot of work to do to convince these guys that run the world that agroecology is the road to take,
mm,
to retake actually, to
mm,
revisit, not to take, because it was once the path. Trust me, without intending to harm or undermine anyone, this convention was organized by the African Union, of course, with
mm,
big funders. I don't think it's a harm mentioning some of them. Bill and Melinda
mm,
Gates, Bayer, Agra. The other day I was talking to Mr. Chimera about this, and we are very sure these are business entities. These are big commercial entities who
mm,
want to make money, definitely from agriculture and other things. Now, if you have an invitation from
mm,
someone whose rules you must follow, although you have your rules as well. Yes, I'm coming to the party, but I'll dress as I want. I'll dress my
mm,
coat, the coat I want. So some of us in the organic found ourselves in there dressing the coats that we want, although we were invited in an atmosphere that is majorly, predominantly the other side, the neighborhood side, the convention, you know.
mm,
So my take home was, how far are we going to take this journey? And my answer was, we must take it as far as we can. We must make
mm,
as much noise as we can. I liked the statement you said. Even if it's one person today that has
mm,
taken in agroecology knowledge, that has taken in a concept of making a pesticide organically,
mm,
that will be enough
mm,
for us. Trust me,
yeah.
by the time we conclude 365 days
Mm,
a year,
mm,
those would be 365 minds that will
yeah.
expand the knowledge.
Mm,
So why am I saying that? The space for agroecology and organic agriculture practices was visibly small, visibly small.
mm,
Um, Predominantly, our colleagues were running the show, and most of those talks, the political talks, majorly centered on the other side. Now, we the players of the agroecology, the advocates, of course, that's as you see in the picture, I was on that stall under by Vision Africa Trust, one of the promoters of organic agriculture knowledge. And I realized we have a lot of work to do. Now, while I was on that stall, um, I interfaced a lot, quite many of intelligent super soil scientist minds,
mm,
uh, you know, these are basics, the basic knowledge we teach our farmers to practice on the farms. However, we have to take strides to enter the wider market of agroecology products. Now, on one of the panels I sat on, about the challenges of the farmer. Why doesn't the farmer? What challenges that the farmer face while yearning to improve soil health, while yearning to make
mm,
an improvement on the soils? One of my answers was the burden of science. In a way that. Now I'll take a product. The farmer will want to use a product whose pH he is not aware of. He doesn't know whether my soil needs particularly a potassium or needs a nitrogen or needs a magnesium. Now a lay farmer, a simple farmer, you come and advocate for good soils. Let's go back to the indigenous knowledge, but this guy doesn't know what to use. Actually, he's just torn,
mm,
his mind is torn apart. The conventional guy is telling him, I've brought you a bag of DAP or can or something like that, you know but you are telling him, here is Jimusa, I have brought Jimusa for you, it is going to work on your plant, but you have not provided the knowledge that okay, this must work under this pH. Of course, we as we move on, we're going to be incorporating these nitty gritties in the packages of knowledge that we give out. But the farmer now doesn't know that. All he will see is you gave me a fertilizer which didn't work. You see, such a challenge. The next time you're back, I say, you guys, your things no, they won't work. Let me go back to the guy who gave me a small bottle and it worked. So those are some of the challenges. Now, as an innovator of these inputs, as an advocate, an enthusiast of agroecology, these are the bottlenecks we find. Now, these guys in the conventional world will throw as much money as they can in the field out there. They'll reach even an extent of giving you some free, some products for free. By the time you, the advocate of agroecology, goes out there, you are looking like a fool. You are looking like a joker. Guy will tell you, for us they give us these fertilizers free. Yet the other guy's agenda is a very broad picture to capture. So we find ourselves challenged. However, I think the times of reading the book of Lamentations is now over. We must now read the book of Acts. Let's throw out there what we have. Let's throw the Jimusa there. Let's throw the biochar there. Let's throw the whatever innovations we have. Small steps we take will change this world. Otherwise, at the convention, I was challenged. My take home, like I was saying, the question was, how soon are we going to beat these guys by their game, the conventional guys? Looking at the huge amounts of monies, I was touched by my minister's brief speech. My Honorable Minister of Agriculture in Uganda, Honorable Tumwebaze Frank, he was very eloquent in stating categorically that our soils are depleted. Our soils are lacking organic matter. I really liked the phrase, there is no longer organic matter in the soils, therefore the soils have gotten exhausted and dead. I really liked that phrase. However, my worry is we have listened to two beautiful and sweet speeches that we think are going in our favor, the agroecology way, the organic way, but these guys' hands are tied. I started by mentioning from our hosts, from the conveners of the convention to the funders of the convention, the space where you're going to speak about doing away with the conventional product and go back to God's way, agroecology, and Bernard's way of doing things. These guys are not on our, it's like we are in riddles, So it was challenging to me, but it was an eye-opener to me as well, that the fight, the war we are battling with, we are faced ahead, is actually bigger than we thought. The monies we have are from our own pockets to do this, but the implementers of the other side, the neighbor's side, I will call it the neighbor's side, but it's the conventional side, the agrochemical and that stuff, the money is too huge, But our hope is, nature is here. God gave us the nature. And the other guys' monies are catching up with health, with human health especially. We are seeing a lot of cancers, seeing a lot of lifestyle diseases. Now, that is our trap. That is our catchment. That is where we get them from. We shall wait for them in the corner. We say, hey, guys, we told you 15 years ago that let's start by changing the soil. Let's start by feeding the soil naturally. Eventually it will come back to the life. So it's just a matter of time. We shall get these guys in the corner. Otherwise, it was a nice show of a lot of innovations. The only bigger agroecology player I saw, not the only bigger, but the one significant that caught my eye was the Kenyan Association for Organic Practitioners and Producers. You know, these guys have an association for the organics, for the agroecology players. They have a body. They have a body that can talk. You see, we see this body is quite significant. You take from the usual trade unions and the teachers union, workers union, things like that. If you are under an umbrella that really can make noise louder than an individual, this really gives us mileage. So I was challenged with the Kenyans. They have the Kenyan Association for Organic Agriculture Practitioners. You know, well, you might say we have quite a number of NGOs back in Uganda who are into agroecology and organic agriculture. But these are civil society organizations. It's not an umbrella for all organic agriculture players. You can only enter the spaces of that NGO if you are either a subscribed member or close to the circles there. But now this is a national umbrella of organic agriculture, all agroecology actors.
Kato, Kato,
What was,
Kato,
Yes.
yeah?
allow me ask Albert.
Yes.
Albert, taking your experience, because now what can be done? Now, and now that you have come out to say, because you have identified the gap, okay? And now you are talking practical. What do we learn from the Kenyan Organic Association now that you, the practitioner, can bring and ground it here in Uganda? Because this is where the uptake,
Yes.
the appreciation, what can be done. Now, this is where, and thank you very much for bringing it. Now, this is where we are today. Can you
Yes.
revolve around now and like, I don't know, is it the American football? Can you do the, what do they call it? In basketball, they duck. Then in football, you strike. Now in rugby, I don't know what they call it. Now that you have hit the train has derailed, the way you said it, I
Yes.
loved it. The agriculture train derailed. Now, as you go to the exposure, you have seen where Kenya is doing well. How can we bring it home?
Yes.
Use the success of organic movement in Kenya to use it here for the success of the Ugandan organic and agroecology movement. Please, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chimera. Now, actually, it's an interesting now topic of discussion, because this is now going to lead the real work on ground. It's going to unpack everything. Now, to start with, of course, now we have the National Organic Agriculture policy in place. Now, it's one thing having it. It's the other fact unpacking it into reality. I was talking to the colleagues on that panel and the listeners during that panel that we need an intentional investment in research, and innovation on these organic agriculture inputs and the likes, because why these conventions are getting a bigger share is they are super organized, that they have own laboratories, they have researchers, paid up researchers, and whenever they want facts, whenever they want to answer an insect outbreak, it is a matter of a week and the research will be there, you know. Now, the association, the Kenyans have actually, before even I proceed, when we left the convention, the West Africans had their own caucus, and they resolved and formed theirs. And back home, I'm very sure they are going to report that at the Nairobi Convention, the West African Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners was formed. They actually formed it. That was Tuesday, day 2. They convened and formed that. Now, they can ably bargain for a share, a portion from the Ministry of Agriculture budget. That, you know what, we need to invest in the bare minimum of testing kits to our farmers. If you have made a compost, what is in that compost that the plant wants? The farmer has innovated. I mean, an innovator of a pesticide has innovated. But what are the active ingredients in there? I was very challenged by he's a German. He's my name has his name has skipped. He's a soil scientist. He was from GIZ, one of the founders of Biovision. So he is a soil scientist. Actually, if I don't know if I shared the picture. I was showing him how we arrive at concocting the basic NPK that the farmer wants in that liquid fertilizer, and the ratios were the ratios on my bottle. NPK ratios were 4, 13, 11. Now this guy, being a genius, said no, this is not enough. If you are to enter the market, if you are to enter an international market, the user needs to know, go away from the ratios of 4, 13, 11, and pack and say, in this liter of foliar fertilizer, 50% is water, 30% is nitrogen concentrate, 16% is this. You know, the ratios are different from the concentrations, you know. And now Bernard is laughing at me. And I mean, I was left amazed. We are used to the labeling NPK 17, 17, 17. But in the whole pack of 100 grams, a whole solid of 100 grams, what's the percentage concentration of that N? You see? So this was a very big lesson to learn. Now, a single innovator, I don't own a laboratory. It is costly to go to the lab to do those tests each day. Now, this is where these guys beat us, the guys at the neighborhood guys, the guys in the convention. Each time they have every lab access to run these.
I'm going to come in there. Right there. I think you have explained these things very, very well. I've been listening and learning. You have unpacked, and
Yes.
Mr. Kamara helped to poke a bit to give us more details. Now, here are the issues I'm picking. One is that the agriculture sector is owned by the guys who want to earn money from it.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter whether they are Ugandans like you, whether in Africa or beyond. I call them capitalists.
Call them big boys.
Yes.
Big boys.
And girls, of course. They want money. They know that all of us survive on food. So the food industry is big. You mentioned names. Definitely, when a country is hungry, as I said, there are corporations which are going to come in and give you food. And as they give you food, they are going to negotiate with your president to give them minerals, mineral rights and concessions, to give them construction rights. I mean, this is the dynamics of the politics, because if Kalamoja is hungry and you don't have food, and USA can give you that food, always there must be a good pro quo. Someone is going to give you something for something in return. So why should Bill Gates be interested in food? Because whoever controls your food controls you. Whoever controls your stomach is able to make you dance. So it's going to be a fight, because look, they have the laboratories. You talked about this German guy telling you the composition, because you cannot do it without a laboratory. And the question I was going to ask you was, which is obvious, does the government of Uganda promote you? I don't think so, but it will tell us later on. Because I was about to ask you again, and I will ask you when we are responding later on, who sponsored your trip? Because it ought to be the government of Uganda to sponsor Ugandans go exhibit, go showcase what they are doing. Because what you are doing, Albert, is not for you. It is for all of us. It is for our children and their children. Preserving our soils is not for benefiting us. It's for the generations that are coming after us. So once a sober government is there and knows these facts, that Bill Gates is not interested in your soil fertility at all. He's interested in the profits, and they're interested in the politics that surrounds food, because food is an industry and food can be a weapon. Food, without food, a country without food is a slave to the person who can give them food. So until our governments become patriotic and say, let us support Kakande's organization. Because look, who is training the extension workers? Look what the NGOs I won't mention that actually train them. What do they teach them? They teach them to use these chemicals and pesticides, which we know, as you know, as a practitioner, they are destroying our soils. But why are they doing it? Because they want to show you that if you use these seeds, you only plant 10 and you are getting a full yield. What do you want? You want food? Yes. They don't look at the consequences, they look at the quantity. So how do you beat that when they have your government in your pockets, when they have the money, when they have the laboratories? It means, part we have said, the answer I've given the answer, that organic farmers, organic inventors, organic innovators must come together and have a common voice. To me, I've given the answer, because we know we are fighting a lion in the room, a lion, actually not even a lion, an elephant. An elephant in the sitting room is right there. It's so big. It has government power, it has the corporations, it has the international community. They are all looking for this elephant, supporting it because it is helping them control you. So to me, it's an uphill task, but I'm happy that at least you participated in this kind of meeting and you got this knowledge, and I know we are going to be able to benefit from it. Let us hear from Bernard. I was just giving my mind as an input.
Yeah,
Bernard,
sure,
what do you have to
sure,
say?
thanks. Thanks.
Mm,
So you realize that I'm very happy that Kakande you went to this show. But also I'm laughing so much from what you're telling me. The nature of being a scientist also spoils me many times, as
mm,
Henry knows.
mm,
But you see, all it comes back to what I was saying: investment.
mm,
Who is investing in us? Who is promoting Kakande? Who is
mm,
investing in the laboratory we are talking about? Who is investing in, in the inputs? You can imagine an agroecological farmer who is going to plant an inorganic seed. So everything dies there. So the question is that who is investing in agroecology at the government level? How much budget are we having that we can
yeah.
send our 10 representatives to, these sessions, and they learn and they come back and implement something? I mean, but also maybe lastly, before we go back to Mr. Kakande, what I'm picking from your subject is these big boys, the big boys who are bringing on board these things, they already know the impact. They already know the impact of all of these things. And so they're already having remedies. They know that, well, this is going to affect health. So we need to invest in the health remedies. And so that's why whenever we are crying about cancer, someone is already making anti-cancer antigens somewhere. So that because they know this is going to bring a lot of health challenges, and so we have to get ready to actually
Yeah.
bring on board the medicines. So you give me the challenge, but also you give me a solution which never works. So anyone who has cancer will die of the cancer. You like it or not, everyone will die of it. So they can bring relief for cancer patients and say, oh, we are sorry for the cancers and all this, and yet they are responsible. So for us in public health, we make sure that the consumer understands the basic. What am I supposed to consume to avoid the risk of getting this challenge? So from health promotion, someone will know that, okay, the moment I start consuming inorganic substances, I am likely then to have diseases associated with them. Unfortunately, those diseases we refer to them as non-communicable, meaning that they take longer, but they will surely come. And when they come, they will take surely a very long time not to cure, because they will not cure. Instead, you will cure when you die. So I think in our reflection of agroecology, we need to think about agroecology in terms of feeding us but also in terms of prevention of disease that come along with synthetic products. The only challenge now we have to think about, how do we ensure that we have organic everything, organic inputs, organic seed, organic soil, so that we move along with everything organic. And how do we ensure that every organic food is kept safe up to the end of time? That should be a challenge that we need to fight with as of now. But otherwise, we are all going to scamper to the big boys' agenda. Otherwise, thank you for sharing, Albert.
Thank you so much, Albert. We are going back to you before you conclude. We are going back to you, and in terms of the videos, but also your wrap up. We are going to be looking at the way forward. But the way forward is clear that this must be something we do as people back home, because someone who is a foreigner is not interested in your well-being. Sorry to say, they're interested in the money. Someone is selling a pesticide, and we are saying this pesticide is destroying the soil. It means we are competitors. We are moving in opposite direction. So there's no way I'm going to expect someone who I want to say stop destroying my soil to give me a solution. They will not.
But they want to eat your organic food. They want to eat your organic food, unfortunately.
Exactly. And when you're exporting food, they tell you it must be organic.
Exactly. This is where the point is.
Yes. But they are selling their pesticides. They are making money. And as you said, Bambale, when you get sick, again, they are giving you the medication. It's an industry. How do you beat it? So, Albert, as we conclude, let us look at Dennis. Let us look at those videos as Albert explains to us part of the way forward.
So I'll talk as they play, right?
Please go ahead and talk as they play. Yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, like I said, we are now closing the book of Lamentations. Now the book of Acts. Now we must act. One of the presidential aspirants in the recent election said that. Now, today I want us to talk about one of the notorious challenges of a farmer, of an aspiring organic farmer in the fields there, the pests. You know, we can make the fertilizers, the soil base, the foliars. That is easy to make. But the pests, what do we do to the pests? Look here. The ecosystem, the environment. I mean, when God was giving us all these things, he was very clever. It is just the innovation and scratching of our brains to make the world a reality in solving our problems. So the plant you're seeing, it's you could call it a shrub, it could be a bush plant or something. It is a legume itself. It's called Tithonia. Yeah. Now, this is one of the best plants with ingredients, active ingredients that are able to suppress any kind of pest. Now, Bernard is going to catch me off guard, because in agroecology and organic, we don't kill organisms. We actually at least ensure we repel them off or keep them at bay. Yes, I agree very well. I know, and but today, Bernard, allow me say, Tithonia is one of the plants, one of the nature creatures that deals with other stubborn creatures of the green vegetation. So this is Tithonia. Now, what we do with this, the application is simple to a farmer out there. Get leaves. These are the leaves. What you're seeing are the leaves of this plant. Now, there are two types. We have the soft leaves, the soft shoots, and then the old shoots. We are going to pound these. A simple formula: pound at least 1 kilogram of Tithonia leaves. Yeah, pound it very well. Now, get at least 5 liters of water. Put on a boiling stove or anything boiling. So, because we want to boil this water. Now, you have pounded at least 1 kilogram of these leaves. Get a simple piece of bar soap. It could be 50 grams of bar soap. Pound it, cut it, chop it into small pieces, put in the boiling water, let it melt, just ordinary soap. And then after the water is boiling, get the pounded kilogram of this Tithonia of ours, put it in and stir a bit. Don't allow to boil for long after putting the leaves, just a little warming we want the ingredients to be taken out. So put it aside and then let it cool, and then you're going to sieve. In one of those videos, you'll see part of those members of the group were making actually pesticide from Tithonia after having pounded it and now sieved. I'm not sure if you have that small video. I don't know if it was, or maybe it was not able to upload, but I think it did, where you see them squeezing the juice out of the Tithonia. Now that is already a pesticide. We put a simple remedy, a simple sticker, that is soap. I mean, when you are spraying for the remedy to be able to stick on the leaves, that is what the soap does. Soap is not we don't consider it as a chemical, because even if I wash my utensils, I mean, it does no harm. If some pregnant women actually eat that soap while pregnant, it does no harm to them. So we consider it, we use it as in the organic concoctions. So what you're seeing right now is another form of fermenting, another pesticide, or even same formula of making those fermented pesticide and fertilizers. So the other one was pound and prepare, cook, ready to use. Now this one is through fermentation. It is also a pesticide as well as a fertilizer. Get the leaves still. Now we use Tithonia, yes, we use it. Quite many other ingredients. You have never even imagined that banana peelings can be used when you are concocting a pesticide, as well as using it when we are concocting a fertilizer. You know, such simple things that farmers have in the backyard don't know they can be actually good remedies if you add an ash to it, you know. And if you are able to make a table vinegar, or buy a bottle of table vinegar, add to it, you can make a very simple pesticide to keep the pests at bay. Such simple remedies are what we want our farmers to do if we are to counter the big boys in the in the market. All the farmer wants to see is, has it worked? Does it work? Has it taken off the pests from the field? You know, this is what they want. However, now it comes into the science. Bernard will tell you that when considering these things, there is what we call the knockdown effect now on the pest. If my organic concoction, my agroecological concoction, will take an hour to knock down or to hit down the pest, the other big guy, the guy at the neighborhood, a conventional guy, will say, in 2 minutes, the insect will be done. You know, this is where now they capture the minds of the farmers. Now, this is where these guys, our farmers, run out of our hands. But bottom line is there an innovation? Is there something to show? You see? So now we are reading the practical book of Acts. It is here. Look at it. You are just refusing to use it, my dear farmer. But it is here, and it will work if you are patient. So these are the solutions to counter the other guys. Now, besides
Thank you
that,
so much.
just
Go
to add
ahead,
on something.
go ahead.
Besides that, we the innovators, we must ensure these inputs, these innovations are as near or as close as possible to the end user, to the farmers. Because was it yesterday? The other day I was chatting with Mzee Chimera here. I mean, you can brag about an organic market situated somewhere, let's say in Entebbe, like my friend Professor Sechewa, we have one in Entebbe, but he is a farmer in Jinja who wants really to use the inputs. Can they drive to Entebbe to access those inputs? You know, a farmer from PG, from Masaka, I mean, having to run to drive to, you know. So if we are to counter the big guys, these lions, the elephants in our sitting room with our small squirrel, let us make the sitting room very uncomfortable. Let us create as many squirrels in the sitting room as possible. They will chase this one elephant out of the sitting room. You know, so we must create these, we call them agroecological territorial markets as close as possible to these farmers. If we can get stalls in these conventional markets, you know, leave alone the politics in those markets. I mean, you are talking about the organic, the guys who run the show, I mean, in those markets will fight you here and there, but let us make our presence felt. Let us make the noise. Let us be present for the farmer to stubbornly accept to have a cancer in 10 years, but we actually had brought the remedy, I mean, the long-term remedy for that. So let's make our presence really realistic, as close to the farmer as possible. They will get, I mean, they will get converted. We know we shall convert them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kakande. Bambali, give us a parting shot. We are doing well in terms of the show and time. Bambali, let
Yeah,
us have a parting shot.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Albert, thank you for sharing with us. I am still hesitant that we need as much as possible, number one, to create awareness to our people that actually agroecology can solve many problems, including health issues and etc. in the near future, but also dealing with agroecology can solve issues of climate change. We need to make our governments accountable to us, that we either receive the tax and kill the people, or we deny the tax and make people work backward and make the tax from here. But also, I wish that we promote our people. We promote people who are trying their best to bring solutions as local scientists who are coming up with solutions. We need to promote them. We need to make sure that we advertise them all over. We need to improve on the territorial markets for agroecological products. We need actually also to have these products move everywhere so that people have them. We need to make sure that at any single time when we are budgeting or planning for people in this country or in our countries in Africa, our farmers are budgeted for in terms of agroecological inputs, agroecological, learning agroecology for sustainability reasons in the near future. And I think that all partners who are dealing with agriculture, let us try to really, when we are fundraising, or we can even do local fundraising, by the way, for agroecology. People should understand this subject and its benefits. So I think for me, we shall keep on promoting our colleagues who are doing their best in this regard as much as we can. But I think also, Albert, we need to challenge ourselves. How do we come up with an organic movement here in Uganda that works away from the words of civil society organizations, but organizing the farmers by themselves to run the show on agroecology? Thank you.
That was very good, Bernard. Mr. Kimera, as you give us a parting shot, I want to ask a question I asked Kakande. Does the government of Uganda support your initiative to promote agroecology in any way as we part for this show?
As Dennis gave me the word, the touchdown, when I talk about rugby. So now you've given us the touch. There are individuals in government who support. Now it is now those individuals in the government, they might be political and technical, who now need to make it a government commitment. I would repeat, the touchdown on your question is they are individuals, both political and technical, who support, but they do not make the numbers. Now, it is them to rally, or we rally with them to make the numbers to support such initiatives. Like you said, one person can lead to a multiplier effect, like picking up small steps in the right direction. Using Albert's analogy today, the agriculture train derailed. And one of the solutions of putting it back on the rail is agroecology. So how best do we use agroecology as the tow, they call it the towing train, to tow the train back onto the rails? We need to invest in it. I will say that Bernard has said most of the things, but the investment, the mainstreaming, the awareness, one of the biggest pillar that is going to help us deliver is the consumer. An informed consumer will demand, may I have those products that are sustainable going to that dedicated stall that is having the sustainable produce, whether it is organic or agroecologically labeled. The consumer in this equation, to get the agriculture train back on the rail, the consumer has to play a big role. So let's invest in the innovations. Let's invest in the capacity building of the farmers. Let's invest in advocacy, but to crown the pulling of the train back onto the rail is sensitize the biggest socioeconomic grouping that has got whatever little money they have, that they will continuously invest to improve the sector of using agroecological practices, and those are the consumers. If we get the consumers to demand, then they will drive the market. So that is my parting shot today. The opportunities are there. The uptake is there. The farmer, once Albert sells what he has, he will reinvest the money. But who is to put the money in his pocket? It's the consumer. Once the consumer buys from Albert, Albert will reinvest. And the neighbor of Albert will appreciate. And the neighbor of Albert's neighbor will appreciate. And the consumer who is the neighbor of Albert will look healthy, and the word of mouth will go around. It will be a wildfire going around, but consumers, they are not just consumers, but they are agents of change. Let's invest in consumer awareness. The consumers will be drivers, and then the potential, the uptake, the appreciation, and the sustainable consumption through agroecology will be sustained, and resilience will be contained. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, Mr. Kimera. Thank you so much, Mr. Kimera. Now, Albert, you are going to be the one to conclude this show today.
Oh, yes.
I have to say that I've watched your simple ways of doing things, and I'm very, very impressed. I've seen the
Very
funnel, I've
simple.
seen the way you do things, honestly. And I want to take you back to what Kimera has said, that it's the consumers to appreciate you first. If the people within Memago appreciate what Kakanda and team are doing, and they see their crops are coming out well, their soils are being able to produce season in, season out, I know they are going to be your ambassadors. Now, I'm very hopeful that regardless of the challenges, the lack of money and all that, but once you are doing something good, it speaks for itself. You cannot cover the truth. It is always standing out. Thank you so much, Kakande. And of course, you're going to give us your parting shot and today's conclusion for the show.
All right, my parting shot today, actually from the lessons learned in Nairobi, I've realized I still have a lot of work to do. Now, if the big boys, the elephant in the sitting room, is investing heavily in taking the minds of our farmers, I really need to do a lot of sensitization. I mean, selfless sensitization. Now, my drive will be to initiate these lessons, free lessons, quite often, because I mean, if I'm bringing an innovation to my farmer, I still need to accompany it with an equal force of convincing that put away this small bottle that tells you to put 10 mils in a knapsack. This one is telling you 100 mils, but it's what will sustain you. So I have a lot of sensitization to do. I have a lot of persuading to do. I have a lot of innovation to do to produce as many products as possible, as many options as possible, simple options as possible. So that is my take home, my parting shot today. And I believe we are going to make an impact. So we have talked a lot about these things. We have seen the impact of the other guys. So it is us now to slap these products in the faces of our farmers every single day, because it is our duty now. So the very last, you were asking who are these guys that care a lot, who took me to Nairobi. By Vision Africa is one of the agroecology practitioners, I mean enthusiasts. So they work under Pelham Uganda. You know about Pelham Uganda. So they are housed under Pelham Uganda, still under the project they run, the Knowledge Hub for Organic Agriculture in Eastern Africa, where I'm a trainer and a multiplier. So I'm part of the system. I'm part of the knowledge initiators, innovators, and hence the people who should disseminate this knowledge. This is why we want to do this tirelessly. So from today, I mean, these are learning lessons that I have not even done half of what I should do as a godly calling to change nature and our ecosystems. So we pray. I hope we shall move steady forward. You asked about if the government really minds. You know, it's politics. I told you, it's politics. It's politics. If there is no income in your thing, you do your things backstage. Let's focus on what will bring in revenues. So, but slowly we shall get there. I am looking forward to us making an association like the Kenyans did, like the West Africans did. You know, at least the Uganda Organic Agriculture Practitioners Association to start with. Yes, we have the National Organic Agriculture Movement of Uganda, but that's more on the NGO part. But I mean, it will do what it can, but run like an NGO. But we want enthusiasts, people who are madly passionate about this, and it must work. So we shall innovate, teach and teach until we really make an impact. Thank you very much for today's show, Bwana Kato.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kakande. Thank you so much, Mr. Kimera, Mr. Bambara, and of course, Dennis in the studio. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. It has been a great honor to have you in the studio. I tell you, we keep learning. And I always say, baby steps. We know it's going to be hard to change the mindset of some people, but with time, they will see the difference that Kakande, Kimera, Bambale, Dennis, and many others, Julius, do in their communities. And of course, with time, we shall have better yields coming from our gardens, and of course with our environment being protected. I want to thank you so much for the show. I hope we meet in the next show on Saturday. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next show. Bye-bye.
And Albert, thank you for nurturing the young one behind that.
Yes,
She was a silent
yeah,
right there.
And the
Oh,
mother
there are
too.
several. Oh,
Thank you so
great.
much. Thank you so much,
Okay,
everyone.
bye-bye to
We
them.
are greatly
Bye
honored.
bye from here.
The moral support is the best.
All
The
right,
moral
all right.
support is the best. Busy for an hour every
You know, it's
Saturday.
farmer family. We're
So
talking about a farmer family.
Yeah, that's
From
the
my
future.
family.
that,
Okay.
That's the future.
Okay,
Thanks so
guys.
much for the
thank you
madam
very much
for
and a great
being
honor.
there supporting you. All the best, guys. See you in the next show.
All the best. A great honor. And Albert will check on you next week. Cheers. Thank you very much, Paul.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Mr.
let's make an arrangement for that. We shall talk and see how possible.